steak dinner tonight.
Nice. Fun. Well, I wonder if it's just Mother's Day or doing it later in the day that nobody's even around.
I don't know if we actually made it official.
That's true.
Just run through uncollected right now.
Nice. I still got a couple paths left.
Oh, I got a whole lot left.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Nice.
finishing up. I just finished up chapter one this morning. Yeah, I'm pushing chapter two on. Last path today. Just so many paths.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
So many
Yeah.
paths.
Oh, let's get Clyde ready.
Could be because Mother's Day already.
Oh, hey, what up, Jay Wayne? What's cracking, Holmes? Thanks for hanging out. Why am I not signed into chat? That's annoying. Well, I like they finally released Streamlabs for Mac, so
Yeah, yes. Well, it's been out for a little bit, right?
maybe a few months. Yeah, I mean, I guess since last I looked. But and that was the first time I went to actually go chat with it. So, what's up, Jay Wayne? Jay Wayne, what up? Thanks for hanging out, dude.
I'll stretch because you're straight. That eventually get to that point. Oh, jeez. Except for the little baby signs sitting there. Or just watching something on Netflix. Keeping up on the movie plays thing there.
Shiny ass head. Oh, my cup's green. That's cool. Look at that. Oh no, I know you can't see it. It's just for you, it just looks like my green cup. But since I'm like on the green screen, it's just like a float. It's like I'm just drinking out of the universe.
Yeah.
I gotta make you a little overlay. I'm working on all my little 3D printing, like a 3D printing video kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm making so I cut up a crystal into a bunch of pieces. So I'm gonna make a really giant one.
Ah.
Yeah. Like right now, I made one it's big, but it's not as big as I'd like it to be. Like, I want to make one that's like the size of my torso.
No. It's huge.
Yeah. I'm gonna make for the video, for like the video I'm gonna do. Like, I'm gonna do a video for each like model or whatever. But the one I'm gonna do first is like the daily crystals and like the 4-hour crystals, like that shape. I was gonna make a 2-foot one, which, yeah, it's pretty big. It's fun. It'd be fun. Well, yeah, man. Lots of news this week.
She did a follow-up video. You see that?
Oh, you know what? I haven't seen it. No, since it was Mother's Day and stuff, I've been hanging out with my mom and stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I didn't actually get a chance to make a cool little intro thing, but we could just use the last one.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
It works. Well, while we wait, let me see if I can't sign into this thing. Open the web browser.
Let's see. Keep a couple more minutes to get started.
Oh, okay. Oh, what up, Lee? Lee. Look at Lee. Have you ever seen Pick a Destiny?
Yes, I have.
It's like Tenacious D and stuff. So one of their friends in there, his name is Lee, and they have a song in the soundtrack. I don't think they play it in there, but it's just, the whole song is just Lee, talking fucking Lee, and it's just Lee the whole time. It's Jack Black doing his thing, and this my buddy who I know actually in Pennsylvania and from the game. Every time I see him, it just comes out. I love it. It's great. I missed it too, man. Lee, how you been, man? Good old PA. I heard it snowed the other day in May in Pennsylvania. Did it snow in Indiana too?
No, it did not.
No.
No, it did not.
Yeah, right. I would.
We've had snow in June before, so
In June.
yeah. I haven't heard anything.
F that.
Not lately.
F that.
Oh.
Lee, you getting online these days? Like the chat app? It's crazy. It snowed a few inches. It's ridiculous. But if you are, man, hit me up. We'll get you in there. Oh, Chopstick.
He's in the chat.
Nice. What's up, man? He's an Empire member. What's up, dudes? Hanging out. Sunday afternoon. Oh, man, that'd be great. Oh, okay, fair. Well, that's right. We'll figure something out. right, you ready to rock and roll? All right, man, why not? Let's get this thing going. Let's get the recording going.
Now recording.
Let's play our little jam, and then we'll get going.
Taking a break from Grinding Arena to bring you the Marvel Champions Lounge podcast. Here are your hosts, Moose and GhostDog.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, GhostDog? How we doing this Sunday, Mother's Day afternoon? Good, man. Good to hear. Good to hear. It's not, at least it's not bad, because bad would just suck. But yeah. So wow, have we got a whole bunch of news to cover? A lot of news, and regular news. Black Widow came out. You had all these videos and stuff come out, but I also wanted to, kind of go over all the news and stuff. And everybody seems to be complaining, but I want to not complain. There's been a lot of good ideas out there, and those are the ones that's over the last few days, and Kabam's responses and everything like that, and that's kind of what I want to go over, and that's what I want to highlight. So without further ado, let's get into it. So you had Seatin and KT's video, the backlash coming from all those, man. What were your initial thoughts when you saw that?
Initial thoughts. I didn't watch KT's. I watched Seatin's.
Okay.
And my initial thoughts were bored the game because he's completed all the content.
Yeah.
But after listening a little bit more, I thought, well, he made some good points about other parts of the game that we still have to do. So.
Yeah. No.
A little bit of both.
Yeah, for sure.
A little bit of both. I think he's completed all the content, so it makes it a little boring. But in regards of there are some changes that need to be made, he made some good points there too.
Absolutely. I think we've all been kind of screaming for changes over the years, but yeah. So my initial reaction to it was, the first thing that comes to mind was, yes, he had a lot of good points, but it was whiny. It was very whiny, and and that's fair. It happens. You're in, for me, the way I look at it is, especially these YouTubers and content creators and all that stuff, where, he's he by far probably, I couldn't think of anybody that makes, he's 100,000 views in a couple days from his videos in the MCOC. So I'd say he's probably the number one content creator, or just the biggest face, you'd say, probably out there for it. And, when he speaks, everybody's going to listen. So, it was...
He has a very direct following.
For sure. And, when that's your kind of job, if you will, when you're not happy going into work, you're going to just kind of be over it. And I totally get it, man. It makes sense. I've been there. I took a break because I was over it, a few months ago, the end of last year. I stepped back from Alliance. I stepped back from everything, man. Everything. And I get it. So I was burnt out. I get it. And that's kind of seems to be the key word here, is being burnt out. So, I get it. It makes sense. But yes, a lot of great points. And, I thought it was a perspective from somebody, yes, who has finished all of the content and really doesn't have much to do. So what is drawing them in every day? And frankly, nothing really. It's the same old stale content. You have, they are clearly pushing crystals and champions and trying to push that, which makes sense. It's a business. By all means, go ahead and do it. But yeah, it got boring, stale, and improvements need to be made. And I want to say, I think the biggest take back and everything, everything was being said was, it was just stale and nothing new. I guess those go hand in hand, but everything's pretty stale, and it makes sense. And I know, kind of taking a look back, I know over the last few episodes I've said that, I feel like the state of the game is in a good place. And that was, I think, coming from different eyes, but that was also coming from a set of eyes that have kind of already been defeated and just, like, this is a hobby. It is what it is. It's not going to change. I've already taken my break. I'm getting different enjoyment out of it. I enjoy building a community, so beating the newest content as soon as it comes out is not my, kind of perspective. So seeing everybody's perspective and you could say backlash, or really just Seatin's followings, and just everybody just kind of, they were fed up, and everybody just blurted everything out over the last few days. Whether you're a casual person, whether you're person who plays hard every day. So a lot of complaints. Not I think it was a great mix of people just complaining, and then there was a lot of awesome ideas I thought out there.
Once you got through the muck of the complaining, there were some good ideas that came from some of the complaints.
For sure. What so I kind of wanted to get into. So I mean, I feel like most of the complaints really were. They all came from Act 7, right? So people were.
Well, it was something about Act 6 too, because it was just like Act 6 was not enjoyable.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna say. So like people were like, okay, Act 6, like I'm over it. Like they were pissed, but like it was kind of at the end of the day, you did it, and hopefully they listened, because they didn't like. So there was the beta. They got all the information, didn't really change anything, so they didn't listen. So now you hope, after getting everybody's perspective and all of the data, you are gonna hope that they listen for Act 7, and then they clearly don't. So I think that's what really put everybody over the edge.
Yeah, it was kind of like, once the Act beta released, it definitely changed the tone for a lot of people.
Yeah, and it really kind of brought to light the whole, making lanes and champions and fights for specific champions, and especially, with Red Guardian, really the only person, for that Sabretooth fight in Act 7 is going to be probably Red Guardian. And I also think Longshot would be a pretty okay one as well. But I mean, it just goes to show that they're really just kind of gearing it towards wanting people to open up crystals to get new champions so they can clear the new content. And I think that's geared towards the people that go hard every single day and need to beat the new content as soon as it comes out. For somebody like me, when Act 6 first came out, yeah, there was really only a few champions to beat, Medusa or this champ or that champ. There's a ton of champs now. There's a ton of variety out there now. So I think that's probably why Command has taken so long and just kind of been milking it, essentially, is because there's the noise from the people like Seatin and everybody like that really hasn't been that loud until today, until now, But honestly, I think, really at the end of the day, not at the end of the day, but I feel like they could have almost not continued it. They obviously would have had to have changed it, but I feel like they could have continued it if they had some better, customer service, like community relationship. I was really thinking about it last night, and this idea that I had really just kind of put me in my chair. Games that have half of the community, half of the players. So MCOC is one of the biggest games in Google Play and Apple Store, right? So games with half the downloads and half the following and half the money have a better, like the company has a better touch with the community as far as like like the CCP is new, but like that's just kind of a given for most games to kind of treat to cater to those YouTube creators and things like that. And now they just seem to kind of use it as a tool for them to kind of push out new champs and advertise new champs, and that's new. So I feel like that'll evolve and everything like that. But it's the customer service that really, I think, makes people's blood boil. I know for me, when the game first came out and everything like that, you used to actually be able to have an honest conversation with the customer service person. Sometimes the person didn't know what they're doing, but then somebody else would step in and help out and would make it right. Now, all you get is, people who, and it's not the people's fault who are actually, like doing it and everything like that. Like, it's not them, it's the structure that's made out for them. Like, in my, I guess corporate career or whatever, I was a customer service person. I was a manager for a very a very high, top end bank. We got awards that were comparable to Forbes, but for customer service. So, and I was a major part in that. So like customer service is kind of my thing. And when you have these customer service agents that just respond with cut and paste answers that don't even go to what you're talking about, it's so infuriating that it's like, what's the point of even talking to them? So when people hit that point, there's no point in talking to them. They're obviously not listening. So it's, if they had better customer service, I feel like, or just they just don't seem to be in touch. Now, somebody from you're in the CCP, so you are kind of in touch with them. How wrong am I? How right am I? Am I completely out in left field? Like what do you think to kind of, I guess, that view of that's out there?
Well, that view that's out there. I mean, taking it from both sides. I remember when I had an issue, I felt like I couldn't talk to them.
Yeah.
But also being now in the CCP, I have a different platform where I can ask a question.
Okay.
Where it doesn't kind of get lost in the wash.
So have things.
I can see where from both sides. I can see where you're coming from, where you feel like we don't get the responses we deserve as a community.
Yeah.
But also, it's just not. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
Fair enough. Yeah. No, I mean it makes sense.
I don't want to violate my side of the.
See, and that's kind of like to me that's, I don't know, I don't get it, I don't understand it, but maybe that's just what it is. I don't understand it, and I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable position, but it just seems like.
I also tell people, if you really have a concern, now that I'm in, if you have a concern, let me know.
100%.
I can take it to somebody. Now it has to be a general concern for the game. It can't be like an individual concern.
Yeah.
And some individual concerns I can take in as well. If you've been banned, that's not something I can help you.
No, yeah, no.
If you didn't know,
if you need a louder voice, essentially.
Yeah. If you need a ticket filed that you can't figure out how to file the ticket correctly, or keep getting kickback from an automatic response that doesn't allow it, I can kind of take it up to somebody. See what they can do.
But see, exactly, like it just doesn't seem like there's enough listening. But hey, after everybody really has let everything out over the last few days, they really seem to listen. Like, so I was in the middle of doing a lot of stuff this morning, so I didn't read when I opened up the phone to kind of log in. But does the beta seem to be closing earlier?
Today's last day.
Okay, was that planned or no?
Yeah, it's planned.
Oh, it was as planned? Okay. It was just like supposed to be for like a week or something, but.
Yeah, it was only a week long.
Okay, but at the end of the day, they did like respond, Kabam Welker responded, Kabam Mike responded. Kabam Mike just irritates me. Like his responses, he needs a new PR person. He needs somebody to, he needs to go to somebody and be like, hey, this is what I want to tell everybody, and then they can clean it up for him, because it really just, the way he says things and the way that the things that he says come off is so frustrating. Like it just makes you cringe when you read it. It's like you don't play the game. You say you know how we feel, but you don't. So I really think that needs to go through a filter. But at the end of the day, they're listening, so they say. And they have a lot of points. So like right now I'm looking at Kabam Welker's response to results of Book 2, Act 1, Chapter 1 beta test. Act 7, essentially, the beta test that was just out. And, he said they're eager to start designing more nodes that don't punish players for bringing in the perfect counter. And I think that that's a great point. One great point I think that somebody made as far as, like champs that have... So, like, you just released Red Guardian, and he's kind of specific for that Sabretooth fight or that path or whatever. Like, you have new champs for this. But... So, like, Red Guardian is very similar to OG Captain America, right? Like, let's just take those two, for example. Or even just World War II. Could you not kind of, without having to go through a 9-month beta, could you not just give him some of those abilities? So then, wow, cool. Now I can have that champ and bring him up. And, yeah, he may not be as good as the new one, but he's still viable. So I think... There's a lot of good ideas out there, but as far as them saying that they're trying not to do the perfect counter, I think that that's great. There's a lot of other things that they go in here to say. They said, you have invested and want to invest in more God tier, beyond God tier champions, and they can't promise more story mode for like your 2 stars, but for you could bring in other champs, and that had me thinking about when 12.0 came out. Were you around when 12.0 happened?
I was around, but I wasn't playing the game at that level. I was kind of more of just a log in, let me do some story quests, and log out, do some homework.
Fair enough. So the whole point, I thought, of 12.0 was to get champs like Scarlet Witch and just your kind of God tier champs that really just, like your today's Aegon, that just take down every content that's really in front of them. It was to get away from that. So they nerfed all of these champions and then started again. And really, just looking back at it now, it just seems like they just nerfed them all. So those all would suck. And now you'll have to start spending money on newer ones. So I really hope that they start going away from that. But at the end of the day, they have gotten a lot of feedback, and it is going to be interesting to see what they come up with. They're probably going to be, hopefully, as they say, they're working over the weekend to come up with something. So let's hope in the kind of the coming days that we get something from them. I mean, I'm sure you'll probably hear some stuff as well, being in the CCP and whatnot. But so that's kind of, I guess, everything that's been going on. But like, as far as like the good ideas, what's one of the good ideas that you have or that you've heard that kind of comes to mind?
Taking down stuff for AQ. That's been the biggest one. It's been the AQ thing. I don't know if are we just talking about book 6 or book 7?
No, I'm just talking. Let's just get into whatever, man. Let's see where we go.
Book 2. Yeah. So, as far as Act or book 2, I've heard some decent things.
Yeah.
Toning down the attack rating, so that you're not dying from block damage.
Yeah. Which they said they've done a couple times already, right? Well, gee, thanks,
yeah.
But like you're still just dying from block.
It's still just dying from block damage. Yeah. And then let's see. I heard things about AQ. I know AQ was one of the big topics. That was one of the things that people talk about a lot. A lot of different things out there as far as either having shorter timers, less links, or if you have the links, make the links where they're not punishable links.
Yeah.
So if I want to fight through a link node to kind of keep my path moving, I can.
It's just not automatic degen 100% over 30 seconds.
Or 300% attack.
Yeah.
And 200% additional health.
Yeah. Yeah, like so I have, a few accounts that, I help build kind of other accounts with. Like I was saying, that's where I kind of get my fun in. And, I'll plow through nodes all the time, in AQ and stuff because they're like, it's bleed, and maybe like some extra armor, that's tolerable. That just makes for like a longer fight. But once you get into like map, and that's like, map 2 and map 3 and things. But once you get into map 5, it's like those crazy ones where it's just not even worth starting the fight. So no, that makes a lot of sense. I thought, were there some other like good ideas for AQ? I mean, I think shorter timers is great. I think whenever they make it 30-minute timers, everybody's like, cool, let's get this done in like 6 hours and then go about our day. which I think that's a great idea. And even I remember in your stream last night, somebody was saying even 45 minutes.
Yeah, 45 minutes, 30-minute timers. I think those people usually get excited when we lower the timer limits in AQ.
Yeah,
and I think that would make everybody's AQ life a little bit easier, where you're not waiting 5 hours to get a full thing of energy. You're only waiting 2 hours, 2.5 hours. So that was a big one.
yeah.
The link nodes. I've heard like the module hacks, maybe making AQ more like an incursion thing.
Oh, that'd be cool.
When you get hacks. Things like that. Those were the ones from AQ. The other big ones that you hear are what Peekaboo just pointed out in chat. 6 stones. They're so rare.
Yeah.
5-star ones are super rare to find. You get, if you have the sigil, you get 1 a week.
I haven't noticed, I guess.
You get 1 a week from the sigil.
Yeah. Which
you get
is
10 if you complete the initial clear of uncollected. You get 5 if you complete masters 100%. So all that's designed to either keep you in the game a lot longer for what, 16, 19 6 stones a month. That's if you have the sigil.
And yeah, and that's not those aren't generic ones.
Yeah, those are,
because if it was generic ones, I'd already have my cap at 200. But
right. They're
random.
Classes,
yeah.
Random classes.
Yeah.
So either A, you have to spend money to get the 6 stone deals, and even those sometimes are random.
1 or 2 and random. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even better yet, you have sometimes they throw out a generic deal where you can buy it, or like the deal today where it's 1,500 units. So if you calculate what 1,500 units are, 1,500 units basically is a Black Panther.
Yeah, it's $50
to get 15 generics and 20 random 6 stones.
That's
kind of a lot of units for that.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not spending money on the game.
Exactly.
If you're spending money on the game, $50 for 35 6 stones.
That's not worth it. What's crazy to me too is you bring up deals. I don't remember there being as many deals as there has been since everybody's been on quarantine.
Yeah. Well, not even necessarily on quarantine. In
the last quarter, we'll say this year.
Yeah, in the last quarter. Look at all the deals that dropped since the holidays.
Exactly.
And they're all geared usually around some kind of prestige bump or rank up.
Yeah, or buy 5 random crystals where you can get 3 stars for $50.
Yeah, or the Dublins,
the doubloons, doubloons. Yeah.
Those were here. Buy these. You're already buying units, so buy these.
Yeah.
Get these and then spend those on all this material here.
Exactly. Which out of all of the ones they did, those were the only ones that I participated in. I guess other than a few of the other ones, but
I've been part of trying to get my prestige up to join different alliances.
Makes sense, yeah.
Being higher AQ alliances, and part of that has taken its own wear on me. Like, okay, so I bought this $50 sig deal for 1 6 stone a day for 30 days.
Yeah.
And I bought this one over here where I get generics 2 every day for 30 days. And then, oh, wait a minute, this generic deal popped up, so I'm going to buy this one too. So I can get like 3 or 4 characters to stick 200.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
how
can I be rewarded for the other things that I do?
Exactly.
Like the solo events. How old are the solo events?
That was the other thing I wanted to get into was, so even just the solo events, the alliance events. So it just, even if you just said those haven't changed in, I don't know, however many years. Well, there was like a kind of revamp to them recently when they got rid of like dual targets and stuff. And I say recently, like as in what, like maybe a year, 18 months ago.
Not even that long ago, I don't think.
Okay. So, but then you had the solo objectives come in. What do the solo objectives do for somebody who's Cavalier? Absolutely nothing. Like we talked about it in one of the ones that.
They're 4-star.
Yeah.
They're 4-star 6 stones.
What? That I can't even use my 4 stars in half the content that I'm in right now. Once I became Cavalier.
I'm not using them for anything.
Right? Or like, yeah. It's frustrating. And then, they say, well, things take time. And that's kind of been a lot of my grief, really over the last like kind of few weeks. The things they say takes time, and it really got me thinking again, like, so like the reward. So kind of solo objectives. They took you this long to kind of build that into the game. It seems like when they start building something that they just go, okay, so we want to give people these rewards, so let's just give them here. And that was a year ago when they started building it, because it takes them so long to do it. And those just rewards they're stale, just like all the other content. And I think it also, when we were saying, kind of goes in with stale, they just have this pattern that they've just kind of fell into, where it's just 2 new champs, good defense champ, powerful champ, and then we'll do 2 defensive champs, and then we'll just, it's just this pattern. And honestly, frankly, it feels like, we're being milked, so they can go do other things, and MROC being one of them, and it's frustrating, because the timing, they, and even in some of their responses, they say, like, we have all of these things in the works. Well, I don't understand how it takes 8 to 10 months to reskin dungeons. Like, it takes you, why does it take you 8 to 10 months to do that, when like building a new monthly quest, it takes you a couple months? I don't understand the disconnect. Or, you can build in solo objectives into each month, but you can't go back and update some. How long? Like, I don't understand. I don't like, if what the BS that which just goes right back to their customer service and their PR, and they're in touch with their community, if they just think that, well, we just want to make sure we're not progressing people too fast, or this or that, like, that's BS. Like, nobody's buying that anymore. Like, nobody is buying, well, we don't want them to progress too fast. Like, stop with that. Because you know exactly what people need and want in the game, and you know how to make it work. You're just milking everybody for what it's worth. And it's for this MROC. And frankly, I remember last week I was saying I was going to look up all that other stuff about gameplay and stuff. I didn't look anything up, because frankly, I'm boycotting MROC until they straighten out MCOC. Like, and
I think a lot of people think, don't get me wrong, definitely the profits from Marvel Contest of Champions is definitely going towards helping support to build MROC. That I'm not saying.
Game designers?
Game designers are not. They've made it very clear that the game designer team that's for MROC is strictly for MROC.
They hired them. They didn't when they start the game, they didn't hire them outside.
Whole new team. A whole new team. Now, will I say should they've hired some more people to help with some of the stuff that's going on in here? Absolutely. Now, outside of that, have they? I don't know. I don't work for.
No, I know you don't, and I'm not trying to grill you, because like I know you, like, they give you all the answers. Like,
no. Well, this is something they said on one, I think, Dorky Days videos. That they said this. They hired a separate designer team for MROC. MROC has got its own separate team. The only person who I think connects the two is Gabe.
He's the designer, right?
And he's the designer.
Right. He probably writes the story, does like all that stuff,
he's
kind of
real big in the story.
Tells everybody how. That makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll have to do my research before like a full boycott and I do all that, but it's just frustrating to me. And honestly, I didn't look it up just because there was so much news and everything around here, so I didn't really have the time at the end of the day. So maybe I just sounded silly, but I don't know. It's still frustrating at the end of the day. How it seems when they kind of...
It's like, fix this game first.
Yeah.
So that we can, if we want to, we then can enjoy the other game.
Exactly. And, I think I had this thought in the back of my head when it comes to MROC and MCOC. I have a feeling MROC is going to be more enjoyable. I don't know how it is, but it may be more enjoyable for people. Those people who are more, you know, I mean, like I get the mentality. So they put you, like not you. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
so some like a person who is like you're an officer. I know you are.
Sadly.
You know, so you're doing other things in the game, but for like just somebody who's just an alliance member who's just striving to do the best they can, they're putting in as much time as they can because they want to get out as much reward as they can, and a lot of the times their alliance could hold them back. MROC's not going to have any alliance holding you back, so I think I have this fear that a lot of those kind of type players are really going to go away from it because of that kind of personal, you know, like it's probably going to be more rewarding personally than it is having to be based in alliances and stuff. Like, you know, like just, it's you're not going to have to rely on other people like AQ, you know, part of the, and war, part of the stress behind that is you have to keep checking every hour just to see if, you know, somebody cleared their node, or, you know, maybe somebody's busy, they didn't tell you they were clear, or, you know, I think that's the whole reason why people are online and Discord and all these other things to begin with, is because the chat in the game isn't good.
Terrible.
So
It's terrible.
yeah, you know, and it, you know, you wouldn't necessarily need to chat if, you know, it was kind of easier, or, you know, if it was more, you know, like if you had the timers and things like that, you know, so different timers. So, you know, I think that's just where all of those things come from. That's where you just have those, you know, like they keep saying it, what is the quality of life, you know, kind of changes that they're trying to make.
And I think that's the biggest thing, is what quality of life changes can be made to help preserve the long-term players of the game. Because the long-term players of the game is what's going to keep the game going. There's going to be new players all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I know because I filled a brand new alliance in 2 weeks, and it's going strong. You know, so
there's going to be new players that are going to sign in.
Yeah.
But what's going to keep those new players in the game are the long-term players telling you it's so great when you finish uncollected, becoming uncollected. It's so great, much better when you get Cavalier.
Yeah.
It's so much better when you finally beat X6.
Yeah.
You know, the progression is there. It's going to be there. When you get into the lab, when you get into the abyss, those things, those videos, they see that constantly going forward from people who've been in the game continuously for the last 3, 4, 5 years. But we're going to keep. What's going to get your 6-month players to continue to keep playing.
Exactly. Yeah, you know, and you know, I was, while you were kind of saying that, I had thought you were bummed on being an officer. And I know you're not bummed, but like, I know you just like, it's for me, like I put people in officer roles, right? I believe an officer role should be somebody who just leads by example, and just probably obviously who has a bit of knowledge, so you could do a war, you know, alliance war, you know, movement, stuff like that. But I also remember them specifically talking about putting in leadership tools. I have not heard another whisper of that since.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've heard anything. I think it was a survey that went out not that long ago. They had people take.
See,
focus around.
but the problem is most people that probably took that survey aren't officers or leaders, and they have.
I think they asked, like, were you ever an officer or leader?
Yeah, people made their own accounts, their own alliance, and, you know, got a bunch of newbies in there for like 4 minutes, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm a leader," you know, but they didn't actually, like. I feel so. If nobody's there to, like, being a leader and an officer is frustrating. It's a thankless job. You know, people just don't really understand what goes into it, to a good alliance, to keep a good alliance going and going strong, and there's nothing in the game for that Kabam rewards for them, which I don't know if really you can, because then you just have everybody being officers and leaders or whatever. So I don't really understand that, but I just think that there needs to be like tools or something in there to kind of help them. And they talked about it, but then hadn't said anything. I know one thing that while I am recruiting, even if there was just in the game, because a lot of people, or even just newer people, don't understand that there is Line, there is Reddit, there are the forums. But if people, if there was like a recruiting chat where only officers or leaders could post in it, and then members could watch it and then ping those officers or leaders privately and talk to them that way, I think that would be cool. And then if you got like a certain amount of like blocks or reports from other officers or leaders, you'd get banned or whatever. Which leads me to another point, which I definitely want to get into with one of our next guests in a couple weeks. But with the whole timing and chat thing here together, you spend 8 to 10 months redoing dungeons. You put things in there called hacks. When people use the word hack in the game chat, they get banned from chat. Are you serious? You have to be kidding me.
I haven't heard that yet.
I have so many posts and so many responses, and it is absolutely ridiculous. What are you doing for 8 to 10 months? Are you serious? I don't know. But I do want to talk with one of our upcoming guests about that, because I'm sure they'll just love that if they don't already know it.
I did not know that if you put that in chat, you get banned in chat.
Not everybody, not all the time, but there's enough people out there where it's freaking ridiculous.
Wow.
I don't. What are you doing for 8 to 10 months? Like, just like, I don't know, like testing it. Like, cool. Can I get on your testing team? Like, it sounds great. Like, cool. Well, it sounds actually probably annoying if it's just these other betas. But another quality of life suggestion I heard out there that I thought was absolutely great, and there was 2 points out there from a couple different people. One, I know Ian Newby, he tweeted about it, and I responded to it, and I thought it was a great one, was not locking champs for at least story mode. So if you didn't lock champs for at least story mode, you'd have your top champs. Yep, I'm saying that right. So you could at least knock out story mode as well.
Is that really a quality of life improvement?
Yeah, because I want to progress further in story mode, but my top champs are in AW, and since so somebody commented on Dan Frontline MCOC has his like, hey, this is how much time we have for 100% align like roster usage. It's gone down since he's been taking note of it. Like, so yeah, I think a quality of life of us having more time to use our top champs in story mode is a quality of life, and especially since it's been going down. One of the things that I know is an issue for leaders and officers is when you have Alliance quests day 5 ending on Friday night. Like, that's a tough time for people to get on Friday night. Like, maybe not these days, but normal time where people work or like a Sunday morning or something. Like, why can't Alliance quest be like, Monday through Friday or something?
Like AW is, where it's set days.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah. More of a set day pattern versus an 8-day rotation.
That would be a quality of life one, because then hey, on the weekends I got my champs, I can do what I need to do, or something. Those are quality of life ones, other than having to be like, okay, like even an officer, they're like, oh hey, when's AQ gonna start? Like, I don't know, let me go check somebody's random calendar that they've made, because I'm gonna go look to see when it starts. Oh, it's like 72 hours. Okay, cool. Like, there's no there's probably a pattern, but I haven't looked at it that close. So
it's an 8-day pattern. So for instance,
then why the hell is it 8 days?
That is a very good question. I just wanted, somebody told me that, and it's always stuck in my head.
Fair. All right. So what? 5 on and then 3 off.
5 on, 3 off.
Okay. Well, and then like, so I remember on your stream last night you had SKO. He's in UK.
Yeah, he's actually in China.
Oh, he's in China. Okay. What?
Yeah, he's in China.
Is he from the UK?
from
okay, all right. I was gonna say, because that accent didn't make sense then. But yeah, so people like them, like, so it's just the timing of it is crazy. So like when AQ starts for half the world, right? It's middle of the night.
Sleep. Yeah, he's sleep.
Yeah.
So like right now we started day 2. It's 3 a.m. his time, 3 a.m. roughly his time when we started. He'll wake up around 7 a.m. to join, but he'll be on till pretty much till we complete the match at 11, 12 o'clock.
True, yeah. I mean, I know we had somebody in Australia, and when I was up, like I'm in the West Coast, I'm in California, so when I was up until 2, 3 in the morning or whatever, he was like just getting up, so it was like,
Yeah.
So I mean, it worked and stuff. It's
It's
just
a tough go around
Yeah.
when you're dealing with multiple time zones outside of your area. So like
Yeah, I don't know
if
how
it's
you-
West Coast to East Coast of the United States, that's different.
Yeah.
Versus East Coast United States
Side of the world.
and, India, or I know somebody who's in New Zealand. Like right now, it's probably midnight his time.
Yeah.
So
That was another thing I was thinking of last night too. Another little quality of life thing for just the whole alliance is if you had people's time zone on their profile. That'd be kind of cool. You log in from a phone, you know where it is. It has to know where the timing is of it and everything. So why couldn't you pop that up somewhere, or like on the member list or something?
Because their time zone is there doesn't mean that's the time they're playing.
No, I understand that, but it still gives you a better idea. Like, if you're an officer, the guy either has a night shift or doesn't. I hope you do. And then, like, okay, well, it's nighttime there. So, okay, whatever. At least you maybe just knowing. I don't know. Just little things like that where I think, I don't know, I just try to get the perspective of a leader. What would make our jobs easier? Because I know being somebody...
One of the things that SQL said last night made a lot of sense. What if they changed the path color codes? Gave them color codes. So instead of saying
that'd be
the
cool.
map, path 1, path 2, path 3, or path A, B, C.
Yeah.
Say you take path in section 2. You take the red path. You take the blue path. You take the brown path.
Instead of relying on other people to make it up.
Yeah.
Even though there is an actual structure, why can't you just put it into the game?
Right.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That'd be nice. It would be nice. And then, you would be able to have a broader, kind of spectrum as far as just people around the world. But, I forgot I was going to say something being...
I know a lot of other games, they restrict you to your time zone, to your area. So if you are on that server,
Yeah.
If you're on the UK server, you're on the UK time zone, and that's the time a lot of your stuff takes place. My girl plays a game like that. Well, she's actually in the UK server.
Yeah.
There because the game she plays, her friends are all on the UK server, so she plays with a bunch of UK people over there.
Oh, okay.
On that game. So everything is just done around the
Oh.
time.
Yeah, no, I remember that. Like, I think for, like, Xbox, I know, like, when I play hockey or something, if I want to get into, like, an online game with somebody, I would select a region to go into.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that would kind of suck for people traveling, though. Or I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, it could be bad for traveling. It could also be bad for, honestly, I wouldn't have met half the people I know.
Yeah,
that
100%.
I talk to on a regular basis if they had those kind of restrictions on the game where if you're in Hong Kong, you only play people in the Asia time zone area.
Yeah, no, I know. I think that's all also... They're not like... There's no benefit from having people over there, so there's not like they have to kind of cater to that, I guess, or it should be on the back burner. The one thing that should be on the very front of the burner, and that should almost be falling off, that they've even said that I don't even understand what they're waiting for, but maybe they're going over their chats again or something, because they've added hacks into the game. But the Cavalier difficulty for the monthly events.
That is, I heard, is coming soon. I didn't hear that from Kabea. I heard that from other sources.
I know not everybody can Steam me, but I'm staring into my watch really hard to try to find the time.
When is coming soon coming?
Like, coming soon, didn't they not say that in, like, over a year ago? Like, I don't... maybe not over a year ago or not even them, but just at the end of the day, you're obviously not listening to us because we've all been saying it for a very long time.
But then again, so they give us vocabulary difficulty. Looking at what uncollected mode rewards are,
Yeah.
are we going to be happy with rewards?
Give it like they're not okay. So, but that's just leading into like they're just nothing's updated. It's stale. Update everything.
I agree.
You know,
Update.
right? Like you have this updated uncollected. Like uncollected, you're supposed was your top monthly thing. And when they updated the monthly, when they added that difficulty, did they not update everything else? Right. So would you not like even just when they added 6 stars to the game, they added 6 stars to the uncollected version of the monthly uncollected, the event quest. So it's obviously not that difficult to do, and I don't know what they're waiting for. They.
I don't. I want to answer people. I don't disagree that they weren't really good when they came out, but they've been the same since they came out. So we need to make sure that these uncollected rewards are going to be rewards that we're going to be happy with for a long period of time.
Well, I mean,
on top of the difficulty, like you said, you don't want to be BS nodes. Think about everything from Act 6 that they would implement into this gameplay.
So, well, hold on. Well, I was thinking, no, it doesn't have to be Act 6. What about variants? I thought I had a great idea. No, I thought I had a great. If you just had the same idea, where so a Cavalier roster is probably pretty vast, right? So that's where the variants came. They were fun, right? Variant 1 wasn't very fun, but that was their first one, whatever. Variant 2 was cool because you got rewarded for having bigger champs. You could use really any bigger champs, and it was cool. Like, you were rewarded, but it was also still difficult content. So could they not take that similar idea and wrap that into just a smaller monthly package? Like maybe, you had, the Variant 3 where you had, tech champions are better, and Variant 4 where you had to use 1-star champs. Like, could you not make smaller versions of monthly versions of that? Because I think that is like those end game players love variants. It doesn't, and they, by saying that they're able to change incursions and they're planning on changing them every quarter or something, why can't they update other things every quarter? Like where's why don't all the teams talk to each other about timing and things like that? Because nothing ever seems to be coherent and make sense as far as timing goes. You can spend the time to update solo objective, but you can't spend the time updating rewards in monthly rewards.
They haven't updated solo objectives, so.
Well, but I mean, but the solo objectives are newer, in a way.
Right. Yes and no.
They haven't been there for like multiple years. They've been there for what, maybe a year? Maybe a year, if that.
They've been there longer than that.
Like not solo like activities where you had like the level ups. I'm talking about those solo objectives where like last month or the month before where we got the 5-star generic 1 to 2. Those solo objectives. Those are kind of newer, but they're still stale rewards. Those are the things that they should be updating, and it's just the frustrating things. I honestly feel like I'm kind of starting to complain, and I don't want this to be a complaining session.
I just think we're not. We definitely don't want to complain.
Yeah.
To get into what solutions we can come
For sure.
As
brainstorming.
as a community, something that can actually be taken back to the band in a constructive fashion.
Exactly.
That's the biggest thing. And for anybody listening, I will say this: if you want to be heard, come with very constructive facts and of what you want. Present them as adults, and don't go in there kicking, cussing, and screaming.
Right.
They're not going to listen to you if you do that. They're going to shut you out.
I would say don't use the tone that Kabam Mike uses. Use the other tone.
Use the other.
Because then it'll actually be maybe heard. Well, it has more of an opportunity to be heard.
It'll be more well received.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think that's another thing that kind of is frustrating. Look, I mean, I understand that the game is a business. You're trying to make money. I get it. I'm all for, like, to me, it's a hobby. So I understand it, like when you're, the little pop figures, that's a hobby. You're paying money to enjoy that hobby. I'm paying money or spending time out of my day to enjoy the hobby. So that's how it looks like. But at the end of the day, like they should be kind of listening to their people who pay their bills and things like that. And I think, one of the other things I think is like champs that they really need to kind of revamp. And like I was kind of tying it into a business, I get that it's a business and your business right now is selling crystals and getting money for that. We get it. It's frustrating. You can still do both things at the same time. Like Hulkbuster, it's going to take a total of 5-6 months to do a whole buff when it's not really necessary. Like just maybe add it a little bit here and there, like just redo it a little bit here and there. And I think if you just did that, or maybe just not even a little bit here and there, do like a month beta or like, hey, this is what it is. Give us a couple weeks for us to fix it because this is essentially what we think is good. And then like let it out. Like this whole building the suspense and this 6 month of this whole new champion, like it's obvious that it's just to build suspense so you can sell crystals. Because when Hulkbuster drops, I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of crystals. So I don't know. The whole champ buff process, I think needs a change for sure. And just the whole, you remember, I think Ilac brought this up. Do you remember when people used to save for champs? Like Blade, like you'd save for crystals and you knew you were going to get them. 10 chances, you knew you were going to probably get him at least once.
There's a pretty good chance you were going to get one.
Yeah, and, there was that one and, like, whatever person that didn't, which sucks. But you were pretty much going to get him. Fair enough. I didn't watch it, but that's fun. That sucks. Like, I didn't, like, for somebody looking for a champ, that's a quality of life change. Is being rewarded for your efforts. That wasn't the kind of rewards I wanted for my efforts. I didn't save crystals. I just took my chances. So I don't think that it would really change the game too much. You'd still have, like, people still bought crystals to try to get Blade when Blade came out. They still probably made a lot of money on Blade. But the people who grinded hard and didn't want to play still got Blade too. So I think it was the crystal kind of ratios that were changed that are really just BS now, which is frustrating. And I think that the quality of life change is having those. Were you ever one that saved when that kind of was a thing?
Nah, I wouldn't get charged like that. So I wouldn't.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I remember
at that time, if I was getting 1 5-star a week, I was happy.
Yeah, was it even like? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that would have been great getting 1 5-star a week. But again, I was probably building some more alliances or something like that. But yeah, I mean, somebody else made a really good point. Was the whole 6-star, why they brought back the kind of crappy champions.
Well, Deacon said something pretty smart as well. Back when Blade was out, there was probably half the champs doing it now. Keep adding 2 characters a month, the ratio is going to change, and that's true.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not like that makes sense for like the basic crystal.
Right, for the basic crystal.
But
now,
when they had those featured like Blade crystals,
right?
You know,
you had like Blade and maybe 1 or 2. It was about 5 or 6 other feature champs, and then you Yeah,
but even just the Blade one, you had 25% chance to get Blade, and then there was all the ones for everyone else. Like, why? Yeah, like why? I just don't understand why they couldn't do something like that more. But the whole 2 characters a month ratio, that totally makes sense. That was the whole why everybody keeps running into death matches in arena, right?
That was more about the 6 stars.
But yeah, I guess just champions changing. You got more champions, and then you got champions being higher ranked. I guess that's how I was kind of making the analogy, I guess. But I guess just the frustrating thing about 6 stars was that they brought the bad champs back. And I guess maybe the only thing that I could think about that was maybe back for like synergies or something like that, because you got rid of 4 stars.
What, you don't like getting the king group or group?
I don't want a 6-star Joe Fix-It.
You don't want a 6-star Joe?
I got him 10 times out of 20 crystals as a 4-star. My first 20. I don't want a 6-star Joe Fix-It. It's so frustrating. Yeah, that was really when I just really knew that this game was going to start kicking you in the nuts with those 4-star crystals. When I just kept getting Joe Fix-It, I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do with him.
Max 4-star champion as far as
yeah. He was the first one that because I had him early, so just had to use champs or had things expiring, so I got him. I think he was at one point rank 5, but that one time when they did the rank down tickets, I ranked him down, but just for defense, just because he was diversity and he was just different, and I was the only dumbass that had Joe Fix-It that high. So. It's just, they had, somebody had mentioned, they had the opportunity to move on from their mistakes as far as, Magneto X-Force. Why, leave him as a 4-star. Nobody's going to use him. And
you talking about Magneto Marvel now? The white Magneto?
Yeah.
He's awesome.
For what?
To be
okay. What's probably going to happen is they're going to buff Red Mag and just not do White Mags, right? Yeah. Right? Could you imagine how OP Unstoppable Colossus would be if he got the same kit as Colossus on top of having the Unstoppable? I think that'd be dope.
I think that's why they didn't do it.
Obviously. But how cool, but that's that's something that is a quality of life gift that's going to make so many people happy, and it's going to shut so many people up from bitching, because they're going to be like, oh, okay, well, I guess they do care and they are nice and they didn't make us grovel for it. They just gave it to us because it makes sense, because he's Colossus, he's Unstoppable Colossus. They did put them together. And, that makes sense to me,
That would have made him just a little bit too...
Exactly. But those are the kind of things that I think they should be doing. And, somebody else made another point. They're like, well, if they make all of these champs really good and they make the content easier or whatever, people are just going to get bored because it's going to be easy. Well, I know for me personally, no, because the fun part for me is the champs, and a lot of the things for people is collecting champs, and a lot of the reason that people even still play the game that I talk to is because of the community that we have. So I don't think that would be the case, but also Kabam is smart enough to not upgrade it or do it that easy. They are clever enough, because they've showed us in the past that they're clever enough to make challenging, fun content with variants. Right there, variants are fun. If they just continued to do that with more clever thinking, other than just this pattern of just milking the cow, it's they really those are the kind of things that I think would make a lot of people really happy. Is not make people grovel over it, because it makes sense to me that Unstoppable Colossus would have relatively the same kit. They did before. And then when they updated Colossus kind of just a little bit, I think they just updated his look and stuff a while ago when they updated Hulk too. They updated Unstoppable clocks. That was a long time ago. That just came out. That came out of the depths of my head. But yeah, I mean, so what other? I mean, like, I that's kind of like all the notes as far as I have, as far as like good points that I've seen. I mean, I know there's a lot more out there. You any come to mind?
Only thing I can think of is I want to touch back based on the fact that you think that changing the difficulty, some people don't want it to be as difficult, and that's not exactly what you said.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I remember when it went from, remember it used to be just heroic, normal, heroic, masters, beginners.
Yeah.
It was those 4 levels, and then everybody was complaining because masters was way too easy.
Yeah.
And boring. And then they introduced a collected because of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of where we're at again. Is it's time for them to add that next level of difficulty without making it so difficult that nobody can complete it. And I think we're gonna have to find that balance somewhere. I was kind of hoping that they would reset book 2 to be looking more like somewhere between Act 5 and Act 6. Not necessarily as low as Act 5 as far as attack and HP.
Yeah. But
not as high as 6. Somewhere in between there, where you could also still bring back using your 4 stars. If you want to make a gate, make it a gate for 4 stars and higher. You can't go into book 2 until you complete Act 6. So it's not like you're worried about someone running through the content because you still have that gate there.
Yeah.
With Act 6.
Makes sense.
So I think there's a way to do that, so you can bring the fun back to book 2 and then progress your story along. Because where do we go now that we've seen book 2, chapter 7?
Yeah.
You look at that difficulty, and if that's what the difficulty is going to be, what's it going to be when it goes to chapter 2 and chapter 3?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that by then you'll probably have rank 4, 6 stars. You gotta hope.
Yeah, but I mean, they're just going to continue to keep scaling things.
No, I understand. Yeah, no, it's silly. It's silly, and I think that it just kind of comes back to the variants. Like they're clever enough to do it, and the variants open up the door for a lot of different champs to use. So they just need to maybe put the same effort or the same team that does that and just kind of not ramp things up, but just make it more fun. I also like gates. I thought were a good thing. You know, I feel like they did. I think Katie Candy, she was talking about gates where they really failed with the whole, like, you need, 4, 6 star cosmics to get down one or whatever.
It's 5. It's that 5. It's those gates in chapter Act 6.2 where you need 4 of one class.
Yeah. And that's just silly.
I'm not a fan of those.
No.
I'm not a fan of those because now I got to go back and look at my roster and think, okay, do I have the chance to go through what?
For one path. So you have to use all of these resources that are really hard to get or cost $50 for half of one, or you got to wait 50 to because you're relying on RNG to make sure, and then I got this 6-star Groot. Well, he's the 4th one, so I gotta rank him up. So you just wasted all these, So that's what makes people frustrated, because then they get this next 6-star or something, and it's an even worse champ. And it's like, well, what's the point of continuing to grind if I'm just gonna keep getting kicked in the nuts, or being forced to rank up bad champs, So it's.
Oh, the other idea I had.
Yeah.
Boom. That's what I'm thinking about. I think I mentioned this once before, but it may have been on my stream last night, not necessarily here. But arena. Taking the arenas, and you still, like Deacon said, you add 2 new characters a month.
Yep.
And then those off weeks, instead of having a featured arena or some random other older champ, how about we put a champ specific, like, those crystals they have, like where it's the armor break champ, or it's the bleeder champs, or it's the poison champs, or whatever it is.
Or even if it was just a feature crystal.
Yeah, and instead of the 150s, they did the top 400 of that arena.
Yeah.
Where you get the opportunity, and it's still RNG based, but now it's a group of RNG based of a smaller pool.
Yeah.
Versus.
I mean, I don't know. You want to grind 5. No, I get it. Like, true. There's bigger pool getting it, so you're not going to be too upset if you get the Iron Patriot.
Well, we hope that they leave him out. I don't know where he would.
No. They're not going to leave him out.
The metal. Here's the metal group.
Yeah, they're not going to leave him out because everywhere he is, I get him. I have gotten him. So back when like it was really tough to get 10-star, 5-star champions, 10,000 5-star shards, even just 15,000. When they didn't have the opportunity of getting featured for less than 15, I was like, all right, I'm gonna go for it, And like 3 out of the 5 times I did it, I'm pretty sure every time I got 2 Iron Patriots. But in between those, I got basics, and they were Iron Patriots. And then a Yondu. And then an Iron Patriot again. I've gotten him like 8 times. And like too many from featured crystals, too. So it's just... Wow.
That's like...
I hate him.
Drax.
Oh, you keep getting him? At least he's like... I would not be as bummed getting him as I would Iron Patriot. I use Drax. I mean, he's fun. He's fun in the Guardians. When you just put all the Guardians together, like he's fun.
Yeah, that part.
Iron Patriot's not even fun to use. And does he even have any good synergies?
What you don't like the fact that when he loses all that power when he wants his power back, he armor breaks himself.
I'm sorry. I tuned you out when you started talking about him. I knew you weren't going to come up with anything, so like, no, not at all. Oh, fuck. All right. Well, I mean, is there anything else other than all of that stuff that we kind of want to touch base on, or anything else that you have in your mind? Because we're kind of over an hour now at this point, but
yeah, well over an hour.
5 minutes or so as far when we started recording.
I mean, we spent the whole hour talking about one thing.
Fair enough. Did your phone break over the week? You remember when you tried to open the game, it just wouldn't? Were you? So, like, a few of my apps, like Spotify, it happened.
You had an iPhone, right?
Yeah.
It was a Apple issue.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah, because they put out some stuff. They said it was just Apple. So, yeah, Chopsticks, I wouldn't be mad at him being my first 5-star. Black Widow, she's coming out, right? You should be having her in your account.
Already had her.
Yes. We already had. Did people already make videos and people just completely forgot because of all the other stuff?
Videos.
Okay.
It came out on Monday or Tuesday this week. I can't remember how to finally drop that video.
Fair enough.
I did not make a video. I did play with her. I found her, for me personally, I found her lackluster.
Okay.
There's a lot of people who ranked her up as a 565 beta.
Okay.
Play with her as a 565.
Yeah.
And he would be a lot better as a 565 versus a 3. Dorky Dave did work with Bam on his deep dive, which I do like his deep dives on that Marvel Contest Champion YouTube page.
Yeah.
And showed a clip of her fighting against that 6.1.5 Red Hawk that has that 1% regen. So
nice. Sweet. So, so we'll see more from her, when I guess it comes out. The only other thing I had here as far as notes go, riffs. Did you do any riffs?
I've done some, and I've not been very lucky.
No?
I think my best thing I've gotten so far is 2,000 5-star shards.
I mean, that's not bad, I guess.
Today I got 5, 6.
Those are the worst. That's so frustrating.
The other day I got 5 tech 6 stones, which I wasn't too upset about. Like I felt like losing a warlock.
What's frustrating is the people that are getting 100 6-star shards.
Yeah, that's a dumb punch.
Yeah, I think I got.
I'm really trying to land on either the feature crystal or the 10,000 5-star shards.
Yeah, no, those would be nice. I got a featured, and I got Masacre the first run, and then both runs I've done 3. I got the Masacre with the featured, and then I think I just got 5 tier 5 shards. Yeah.
Yeah, I got
9,000. So I've got 9,000 so far.
Yeah.
45
I
each.
got 2 of those, 45 each one.
Yeah. So I'm not too mad at those. I mean, those are cool, saving me a bit of glory. I got Emma Frost. I just brought her up, so I'm looking forward to give her a go.
Any cool openings this week for you?
No. Nobody fun. Just a bunch of crud.
Well, I managed.
Yeah. What'd you get? Oh, okay.
I managed after many months of chasing Doom, that I finally pulled them.
Yeah. Nice.
Then my following crystal opening, I duped it.
Nice.
And I also duped my 6-star Captain Marvel movie.
Woo! Look at you. Lucky week.
Pulled Squirrel from the feature.
How is she? Have you given her any?
I haven't even given her a run yet.
No.
How about that?
She seems fun. She puts bleeds on even when you're blocking too, right? Like, because that happened to me sometimes. Yeah, that was frustrating. I don't know when. I think it was in war. I was getting hit and bleeding. I was like, no, don't. Why is that happening? No, don't. No, me. It's just your tail. Your tail is fluffy. It shouldn't be bleeding. Oh, cool,
Yeah,
man.
that was my week. That was my week of openings.
Those are some good ones, man. And you got Doom up? Do you have stuff to get him up to rank 5?
Oh yeah, I took him instantly to rank 5.
Okay.
When I did my rank 5 video, actually opened up I had just finished Variant 3 the week prior. I saved my Awakening gem and my rank 4 to 5 gem to do my next level up.
Nice.
And I got a Mystic 4 to 5 gem.
Nice.
So I didn't have to use any material to take me rank 5.
That works.
And I almost landed on a Mystic Awakening gem that rolled directly over to my 3rd Cosmic gem, which I gave my 3rd Cosmic gem to Thor.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Cool, man. Good luck. I mean, I guess if you didn't need it for anybody else, he's definitely worthy.
I have 2 more. So.
Okay. Nice. I mean, why not, right? Why not? Right. Nice. You got any videos coming up or anything you're doing this week?
Next video should just be done the crystal opening.
Okay.
Probably a smaller one than normal.
Cool.
The last few have been pretty big. Unless I finish up Uncollected today, maybe tomorrow at the latest.
Yeah.
I may have another 6-star as well.
Nice.
If not, it'll be the following.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, this week I'm just working on printing some stuff. I'm going to try to put my first video out there for printing. I'm going to make like a daily crystal. I don't know. I think I might make a friendship crystal just because the colors, the red, the yellow, and the green. I'm going to make like a 2-foot, like a giant one that's like, the size of my body. So
Take you like 3 days to print that?
Yeah, so I'm making a crystal right now that I split into 6 pieces and I'm making it. It's about 15 inches tall, and it's taken like 60 hours so far to print, and it's got like maybe another 5 or 10 left. And then it'll be another long time of me putting it back together and doing all that stuff, but that's going to be fun. But yeah, no, I'm excited making a giant one. That's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. But cool, man. Well, next week we do have a guest with us. So when I did start this, I wanted to do like kind of incorporate guides that we can kind of try to help out people, or just also we're bringing in a member from the Symbiotic Empire, Boom Pal, is his handle, I guess. But he's going to help us out and tell us how to use Ronin. Ronin IN, the Hawkeye one. Yep. He always talks about him and how good he is and like all this stuff. So, he'll break down him for us and we'll get to know him a bit. So, and then also we'll probably put that on the website to have people checking that out. So, yeah, anybody out there, if you want to talk about a champ or whatever, hit us up, man. Maybe we'll bring you on here and you could, talk about any champ, really. I mean, I guess I'd like to hear the underrated ones. Ronin, I feel like, is pretty underrated. So I'd like to hear some underrated ones and what people use. So
Let's hear it. Pretty underrated.
100%. I don't think anybody has him, uses him, or likes him. No. Or wants him. Period. Yeah, you're just bummed. Yeah, the day he was, kind of gambling on that one crystal, you didn't just hop on real quick. Yeah, no, none of that. No.
I did not spend 4,000 units for him.
Not at all. No. And then you get him just randomly, right?
Yeah.
Lovely. All right, man. Well, I think that's gonna do it for us, huh?
I think it is.
All right, man. Well, you enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Zip Zach, Peekaboo,
Appreciate it.
Chopstick, Deacon a little bit there.
Deacon was on there earlier.
Yeah, thanks everybody, and we'll catch you next week. Toodaloo. All right, let's kick this fool out.
Thanks, Chopstick.
Thanks, bro. That's always the plan. But, yeah. No, man, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. So, are you going to run some uncollected today?
I've been kind of touching at it here throughout the day. I gotta go get dinner here soon.
Dinner ready soon.
Well, I don't have to get it ready. I just have to.
What you guys having?
Texas Roadhouse.
I never had that. I'm also vegan now, but... so I wasn't vegan for a really long time, and then I was trying to lose a bunch of weight. I ended up losing some weight, and then I couldn't get the last bit off. So I saw that I did a juice cleanse, a 60-day juice cleanse, just juice, fruit, vegetable juice for 60 days. I tell you, it was the best thing that I have ever done. I haven't been able to find the mental fortitude to go at it again, but since then, anytime I had animal products after that, I just got sick. So I didn't force myself to have it. It wasn't on purpose. I didn't go into it with the intention of being vegan, but now every time I have it, I get sick. So, but yeah.
I'll eat enough. Reggie.
Fair enough, man. My dad does too.
You don't want any of this meat?
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, he's I got you. My girlfriend has enough cheese. I don't do the cheese, so.
You don't do cheese?
Well, nobody really would want to be around me after cheese. Cheese and eggs. I try to do vegetarian or whatever, but then I stunk. It just farted all day. It just was gross. I remember the first time I had eggs after all that. I drove 6 hours to Arizona, from LA to Arizona, and pretty much had to have the window down the whole time. I was by myself. I was like, this is ridiculous, man. I am not doing eggs. Yeah, no, it was not a fun drive. I'll tell you what, man. But anyways. All right, man. Well, I think I'm going to go finish hanging out with my mom a little bit, and... yeah, for sure. And we'll get this all ready for tomorrow. You finish uncollected.
Thanks, Deacon.
Oh, thanks, Deacon. I appreciate it, man. Much appreciated. All right, well, I'm going to scoot. Get this ready to publish tomorrow and hang out with my mom. So, y'all have an awesome day. Congratulations, Pekka. That's a lot. The last 30, yeah, it's all just food, man. It's how you eat.
Becca, honestly, the last thing I remember some people telling me was that the weight you try to lose sometimes, the number plays with your head. Think of how your clothes fit you.
There you go.
Because if you're working out while you're on this diet, you're putting on more muscle. Muscle's going to weigh more.
That makes sense.
Maybe plateauing in your number, but your actual body is changing shape.
There we go. I've got huge size. Go play some soccer or something, man. All right, everybody. Awesome. It's fun. I'll catch y'all
We'll see
later.
everybody next week, 4 p.m. EST,
Yeah.
1 p.m. Pacific.